Hello, I'm Anna from SmartCat here at Data Science Conference in Belgrade, having Luca as our guest. He has actually multiple roles and has had during his life, so I think that will be our main subject today. Hello, Luca.
Hi Anna, thank you for having me.
How do you like Belgrade, and how do you like Data Science Conference?
Well, it's fantastic. So I think that the level of professionalism that I found here is pretty rare. So it's amazing what you guys been doing here. And of course, this is my first time in Belgrade, so I'm so excited. And I didn't do so much touristy stuff. So I hope today and maybe tomorrow to do something. But it's amazing, so I'm very happy.
Great. Maybe people, do they seem like close to Italians, or or you see the differences?
No, I feel the closeness. I was actually having this experience yesterday when I was flying here, and there were like two people talking to each other. One was this lady, I think, from here, and an American guy, and as they talked, I was looking at her and their expressions, and I felt this kind of empathy. It's like, being European is something that is very unique in a sense, but it is not because the American was doing something fake or whatever, talking differently. It's just that the way the people are here, it's I can recognize that as very similar to how we are in Italy or in other places here in Europe. So I think it's super nice. Yeah.
Also, maybe the southern part, and then
exactly, and then we feel the Mediterranean energy here.
Yes, yes. So Luca, you had a PhD in philosophy,
right.
And we've started before the podcast a great talk about that. So I would like just briefly to introduce it, and then to tell us how did the switch from philosophy to being an entrepreneur in AI happened?
Yeah.
And
No, yes, it was. So as I was saying to you, I learned a lot when I realized that I couldn't do stuff in my life. So that, academic career was something that I wanted to do, but then it was difficult. And at the same time, I was looking into some interesting things happening in the technology world, especially, we are talking 10 years ago, so it's really a long time ago in terms of technology advancements.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then, and so I basically started to look into this kind of ideas, and with my brother, basically we started out with some interesting thing that then became like a business project, because we had like a business plan, and then we convinced some investors, and so it was not really a choice, but it was something that I probably felt, within me. So and what I discovered after that, the area in which I was specializing, AI and big data, was so philosophical that most of the things that I learned before was actually very useful and applicable to what I was doing. And even more now, with the prospect of super intelligence and all this stuff.
There is that ethical part of it.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not maybe really thinking a lot about, especially from the perspective of engineers or people from business. There we have tangible results, and then here is something that's going on that's not that tangible right now.
Yeah, exactly. So for instance, when in my talk today, I wanted to approach the topic in a different way, but by looking what humanities have been doing, from their perspective on this kind of technologies, especially data, and you feel that there's the need to complement the views, from the engineering side to the societal and more conceptual and ethical side. So I think this is happening more, but yeah. So it's new because we didn't have these very deep questions to be answered, because now the technology is really coming to us in terms of the things that
everyday life
can
and
be replaced and how we use that and how they permeate everything we do. So
yes. And you were mentioning the talk from the plane, American and Serbian lady, and you've actually spent some time there on Columbia University. How would you compare studies in Italy and studies in USA?
Well, it was actually an year that I spent for my PhD there, and it was an incredible experience. But as my specialization, in philosophy was mostly on Anglo-American philosophy. So this is why. But also I found, so there's this anecdote. So when I was graduating, not even PhD, I was doing something and about conceptual problem, a philosophical problem that wasn't really an interest of the Italian, let's say, philosophical scene. So I didn't have anybody, to let's say, to whom I could ask questions and advice and everything. So I emailed this guy. It was actually then the professor of metaphysics and logic at Columbia University. And it was called in email. It was really early internet, so 99.
Oh, okay.
So email was a huge thing. So it's not just like we were WhatsApping like now. So send an email and have this person, which is Italian, but was raised in U.S. Academic culture, answering back in no time, and basically from there. He got to be like my other advisor on the thesis. He came from New York to discuss my thesis.
Amazing.
This is graduation. And then he ended up to be a friend. And then so this is why I went back to New York and then graduated. I had my PhD with also him having as a discussant and an advisor. And so I think that the main difference is that American university, or at least Anglo-American systems, are more direct and straightforward in relationship with the students, and are less hierarchical in the way they deal with requests. Whereas in Italy, it's more. This is the other side of the Mediterranean culture is more like hierarchical thinking, and how they react is not really optimal, but it's also, this is changing a lot. So younger generation are different, but I think this is and then of course it's also that some part of the things that I did at the time. So when you study philosophy, you think you're doing something that is completely useless, or at least outdated. And you have this impression when you're doing this in Europe, at least in Italy. When you do this in US or in this kind of environment, you feel that for some reason, this is contemporary and up-to-date and relevant. I don't know why. I know why, because they are actually always making the effort to connect what they do with the real world outside the university. And this might be, if you go to MIT, it's, plenty of projects that are financed by companies. And so it's a very different way of putting knowledge into the world, I think. So, but we are going very philosophical here.
Unfortunately, we don't have much time, but these topics are really, really interesting to me. And I was thinking while you were talking, has that proactivity you had with your professor, sending him an email, and the chance to live also in US culture, helped you in AI world and in technology, looking for investments? Here I think the culture is US influenced a lot in the industry. So has that helped you?
Yeah, I think it helped. I don't know if it was a direct, let's say, consequence, but I learned a lot into presenting what I wanted to build, for instance. Then I think that there was some conviction on the idea that I had, and my philosophical training helped me a lot into being very also bold in the proposal and always be convincing and try to think through the problems. So, and I think that the people from other backgrounds appreciated that, I think it's still really fresh in a way. It's not just me, it's the people who are like going after ideas not just for the money or for let's say the engineering problem. It's if you have like a more holistic way to look into the things, I think this is a big value. And
because sometimes problem is not the first thing customer says is a problem, and you should look at their business and their whole company, and in order to find a way where AI can maybe fit.
Yeah, this is very, very important. So, for instance, we built through time this technology that predict consumer trends, and this is completely useless if you don't understand what are the needs of your clients.
Yes.
So, and you have to really be sure that the technology outputs and what you can translate for the client is relevant. So there's also a human element there, the ability to understand the context. So this is actually most of the work that we did and we learned to do, and it's very important also in this transformation that is happening, because AI is amazing, is interesting, is scary, and if you don't get it right when you are doing also a business on top of that, it's not you get this skeptical very fast at you, and I think it's one of the main points and problems that should be addressed and resolved by anybody that is in the business of AI.
And how do you, in your company, you're doing market research, customer satisfaction prediction for clients?
It's more consumer trends. So
consumer trends.
The old paradigm here was people looking into, doing desk research or even looking on the internet and having some ideas and intuition on how the future would be. We just basically built a technology that look into a specific universe of data, which are the early adopters on social media, and try to guess what is next from this large-scale analysis that we do. And so yes, this is the innovation that we bring. And then if you plugged on top of this analysis, which is already very sophisticated, for instance, generative AI, then what we are actually now R&Ding is bringing this to be like an end-to-end AI strategist. So from research to proposal to concept and to white spacing and making the work of people who have to decide in big brands or smaller brands or agencies much faster and effective, because you then get some options that have been backed by some solid analysis and be brought there for a reason. But then the decision is up to a human.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've, I suppose, worked with different industries with your company. Which one you found closest or most interesting?
Yeah, we are a cross-industry platform, but I think we are very good and very appreciated in the food and beverage industry. We have a lot of clients there. We work with many industries. I think the most challenging one, and this is kind of paradoxical because they are the kings and masters of trends, is fashion.
Oh, okay.
Because they've been, given that they are somehow pioneers in the usage of trend analysis, they are very used to old methodologies. And then when you go
to some rule-based algorithms, or
no, even more before than that, it's just human-based intuition. The designers.
Okay, does that exist even now?
And then if you go to a big luxury brand, you would have the management that want to go like data-driven, but you have all the stylists and designers saying, okay, no, this is bullshit. It's me that I'm going to, tell the people how to dress in a sense. Well, it's not always like this, but this is more like, a caricature or
dominant
but then it's a stereotype. But then, this is still there, and then so this is I think the most challenging industry, but also the most rewarding one when you start working with them, because you are solving real problems that they know very well. And the other industries are, coming. Some are faster, some are slower, but still they are coming to that. Yeah.
And up to your experience, how well do your clients know their customers, and how is it challenging for you because you're B2B?
Yeah.
Is it challenging to you to speak to business without talking to end users, or they know their end users well enough?
No, I think that they come to us because they don't know profoundly their own target audiences, and they need to know, but not that. So there are, let's say, two ways of knowing your consumers. You know the ones you are selling your stuff, and you have let's say you are a coffee maker. You know very well who is your buyer of your products. What you don't know is all the others. So and this is the problem. Let's say, for instance, you are a young person, as you are, and you probably drink less coffee than me, and I'm drinking less coffee than my mother. And so, me as a coffee maker, I'm not selling to you so much coffee, so I don't know you.
Yes.
And the problem for a coffee maker, if I want to sell my coffee to you, or at least something else, or something that is coffee related, probably I need to know what are your interests, behaviors, what are the trends there. And this is what when we enter into the conversation, so that we say, okay, no, Anna is not drinking coffee, but is replacing this with this and that. And coffee is, let's say, something that she does after the gym. Okay. So there are different occasions for different products. And whereas my mother would drink coffee after lunch. And this is the difference in knowledge.
Yeah.
And this is why we help. Yeah.
Gives your clients, I suppose, opportunity to widen their market.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
to spend less time to get to know their new audience.
Exactly. And find interesting opportunities for expansion, because there are industries that are fast consumer goods, fast moving consumer goods are fast moving in the sense that as behavior changes, you need to address that. And and big brands, big companies are so slow in understanding the real world out there that they cannot adapt very quickly. And now this is changing, so that they are building team inside their companies to do what is called, let's say, as a industry definition, like foresight practices. So try to predict what's next.
Innovation, R&D.
Exactly. So it's more systematic right now, because now everything is so quick.
Yes.
It's mandatory, and this is where we fit in the market. So we are those helping structure this. Yeah.
Great. It's a nice opportunity to actually get to know the world through different
knowledge.
Yes.
It's basically knowledge. This is what is always motivating us. It's not just business. You discover so many interesting stuff, and it's basically passing knowledge to other people to make better things and decisions, and also do less mistakes. To think about sustainability and all these things that are very important but poorly understood. And we try to help with that, and doing this in a way that it's fast enough to keep up with the changes in the world. So that's the problem. With the old market research, you would do a research, well, you get a brief for research, you do the research, and you deliver that like 8 months later. And then in the meantime, the world has completely changed and it's totally useless. And so we are like more like a GPS in this.
It's a nice comparison.
It's more like, your navigator for this phenomenon.
Yeah. Thank you, Luca, for the great talk. We will leave your LinkedIn in the description, so if anybody wants to contact you,
Sure.
free.
I would happy.
Thank you.
Thank you.